a one-point podcast created to equip Christian women communicators of color. Every episode focuses on a single point to equip you in one of four areas: purpose, writing, speaking, and business. Along the way, I will share stories, lessons, tips, mistakes, and real-time experiences I am learning on my own journey as a Christian woman communicator of color. Now, let's dive into episode 1. Today's one point is: every woman is uniquely entrusted for an intentional purpose by the Almighty God. Since this is episode 1, I thought I should go historical and tell you how I got here. It actually goes all the way back to when I was about 8 or 9-ish. I can't explain it, but I always thought there was something different about me. Maybe you can relate to that feeling that there was something unique about you or something you felt God was calling you to do at an early age. We can call it the Joseph complex. I don't know if you are familiar with the book of Genesis, but in that book, Joseph had a dream that all the sheaves of grain would bow down to him. And then he had another dream where the sun, the moon, and 11 stars, symbolizing his brothers, also bowed down to Joseph. Now, at that time, he was only 17 when he had that dream. And although he was a little naive and it would actually be 13 years before the dream would be fulfilled, that didn't make this prophecy any less true. The crazy thing is, I had a dream when I was 18 too. I envisioned myself writing and speaking, actually in an arena. Back then, I thought it was as easy as you have the dream and then it manifests in a relatively short amount of time. So I wrote like I was about to be discovered after college. I think you and I both already know that it didn't work like that. It actually took 26 years before I got a book deal and began writing and speaking. But throughout that 26-year period, I had a gnawing sense that I was made for something more. I could not explain it. I did not understand it. I did not talk about it. Some days I kind of thought maybe I just made this up or just imagined it. Maybe it didn't come from God at all. What I did not know then, that I firmly believe now, is that I was entrusted. I believe I was uniquely entrusted with a call from God for an intentional purpose that honestly I'm still figuring out, and I am convinced that there are hundreds, thousands, probably millions of women just like me. In fact, I've shared that little Joseph complex dream with other women only to have them say, "Me too." God gave me a similar dream. And sis, when they confided in me, it was like they hadn't shared their dream with anyone. It was almost as if they were breathing a sigh of relief that me sharing my dream gave them permission to acknowledge that they had a larger than life and seemingly impossible dream too. When I initially had my dream of writing and speaking, there was no clear pathway for me to follow. I did not see anyone doing what I believe God was calling me to do. I went to a traditionally Black Southern Baptist church, and there were no women doing what I envisioned myself doing one day. At 18, I did not know how to get a book deal. I did not know how to begin speaking, nor did I have a community of Christian women communicators of color. This is primarily the reason I created the ministry brand Entrusted Women. Well, actually, it was a detour. God initiated during my 26-year waiting period. In 2015, God began nudging me to create a Facebook group for the women who could identify with my dream. These were the women who were saying, "I believe I am a communicator, but I don't know where to begin. I have a desire to write, but I don't know how to get started. I have a desire to speak, but nobody knows me. I believe that I have been uniquely entrusted for an intentional purpose by the Almighty God, but I could really use some help." Sound familiar? Since I have verbalized each of these statements either out loud or in my head, and I get it and I understand, God has given me a burden to support, connect, equip, and encourage other Christian women communicators of color just like me. And so here I am, writing, speaking, leading, and sending out a rallying cry to other entrusted women. Just in case you're thinking, I'm not talking to you because you don't have a desire to write a book or you don't have a dream of speaking in an arena, know that there are no limitations when it comes to what we have been entrusted with. It could be a desire to create a podcast for teenage girls, a nudging to send devotionals to women in prison, a passion to encourage single moms, or to pray for female entrepreneurs. If you can resonate with anything that I am saying, or if you are curious, I want you to take the Communicator quiz. You can find the link in the description section of this video. Discover where you need to focus as a Christian communicator. Join our community of entrusted women that are focused on determining the message we have been entrusted with and the intentional purpose God has created us for. I also want to invite you to join me next week when we talk about what you should be doing as a writer.